Project-based learning is mostly the act of doing the job instead of reading how it works in a book.
Sometimes maybe people think it's like glue and posters and creating things and fun, but not necessarily rigorous. And that couldn't be more wrong, because there's actually a pretty high level of rigor required in project-based learning. All of the projects are tied to New York State standards. All students still have to take New York State Regents exams and obviously prepare for college level coursework. Sometimes that's embedded within the classes that they're taking. So there's definitely a high level of rigor.
When I first thought about project-based learning in P-Tech, I thought like book reports, I thought like the simplistic stuff. But once I got to P-Tech and we did things, it was way better than what I ever imagined.
These are real problems, real concerns and issues globally or in our community that they're thinking about. I think it really builds empathy and builds a stronger worldview for our students, who many of them haven't even left this community but are thinking about bigger issues.
The teacher's role is mostly to help out in the aspect, if you have a question, they'll be able to answer it, and if there's something you just can't figure out, they're there to help.
So it usually starts with what we call an entry event, and that can take the form of a guest speaker, a letter, a memo.
They determine what they already know about something with their group members, what they need to know in order to be successful. And then for each of those need to knows, they will then look at what are their next steps so that they can figure out where they need to then go to learn what they need.
It feels like they are the ones driving the learning, even though you've done a lot of the work in the background to set the stage so that they are like, oh, we need to know about this. Like, oh, perfect. I have just the lab to teach you about that.
One of the projects that the students enjoyed this year was our cancer awareness project. So that was a project that was a pretty large interdisciplinary project that included living environment, English, and career and financial management. And in that project, students were tasked with creating a booth at a cancer awareness fair at St. Mary's Hospital. And in that booth, they had to educate the audience about a certain type of cancer.
Cancer awareness was definitely fun because you actually get to go to the hospital and present to doctors that are there. It's definitely fun to get out there and share with people the information that you've researched, other than just having people in your class.
They're learning about cancer cell growth, but at the same time in English, they're learning kind of the emotional impact of cancer. They're reading a story that is helping them get a new perspective on what people are dealing with when they have cancer. In careers, they're learning about the health field.
One of the things that's really nice about PBL is that it makes material relevant. So we're not learning this material because it happens to be the next chapter in a textbook, but because it actually is something that is useful to know in the real world, and it's something that people find useful. It's also forcing students to work with material in a multitude of different ways, because that's what you have to do in a project. You can't just, spit back material. You have to be able to explain it and really show expertise.